Well, again, thank you so much for having me with you again. Um, I don't agree with the concept that this is going to destroy the party. Um, my position on this and really looking at what is happening is that at this time the party is in a stage of rebuilding. Okay, and the entrance of Mr. Thorne into the Democratic Labour Party uh, it radically changed the demographic of the party. And of course, based on their laws, from what I understand, if you have an elected sitting member uh, of that party in parliament, then that person immediately becomes the political leader of the party. Okay. And by their laws, that's what Mr. Thorne actually became. So it should not have been an issue. It should not have been a question of kicking someone out to become the leader of the party. Uh, the laws clearly states how the party is ran, and the party is a Democratic Labour Party. I had the opportunity years ago to speak to my cousin who is now passed, uh, Dr. Walter Ramsey. Uh, we had numerous discussions on the mind of Errol Barrow in terms of even creating the Democratic Labour Party, because he realized that in Barbados, under the Barbados Labour Party, there was no democracy. It was, again, um, a party not of the people, but a party of the plantocracy. And it continues to be that way today. But in order to offer the people a system of democracy and to bring individuals, especially Barbados and those who are marginalized through the whole sugar industry and all of these elements, um, uh, the right honorable Errol Barrow wanted to have a party that was of the people and for the people. Over the years, um, it is, you know, played a very significant role in the development of Barbados. So I don't think that this is going to hurt the party. I think this is going to bring much healing, faster healing. I think this is going to put the party on a different wavelength and a different threshold where they can actually move forward into what they need to do leading up to the next general election. And Madam Weeks, we have to understand that when it comes to the political element and being a person, uh, that understands the Bible, there comes a time when you have to make the tough decisions. And Mr. Thorne, uh, being who he is and being the leader of the opposition right now, his place even in Parliament has allowed the
Thanks,
public of
Enrich.
Barbados to
This all.
know of the ills and a lot of the things that could have been easily, brought into law in Barbados that the public would never have known about. So when we're, talking and saying, things that are, discrediting him, uh, his presence there and then his two senators have allowed Barbadians to be on and be in the knowing of a lot of the things that we probably would not have known about. The crime prevention bill, the bill in relation to bail, uh, all of these different things, the issues of corruption. I mean, seriously, as Barbadians, we need to be more focused on what is happening with our country rather than trying to divide our nation into this and that party. So I think right now, this tough decision that was made by the hierarchy of the Democratic Labour Party has actually put the party in a better position to move forward. I think the weeks and months where they've been at a stalemate, where these two gentlemen are concerned, and I don't have anything against them. I'm speaking from my position as a spiritual leader and as an individual that understands order, that it is critical to make those tough decisions, especially if the Democratic Labour Party is going to present a united front to the people of Barbados going into the next election. And I think this is a very good move. I'll tell you this, on the backdrop of the reality of, let's say, for instance, in the Bible, let's take a look at Joseph. Um, the day that Joseph came out of prison, serving uh, an, an attempted rape charge, the
Mm.
day that he came out of prison and stood before Pharaoh, Pharaoh gave an executive order that he become the governor of Egypt. Now, obviously, that would not have sat well with the political hierarchy in Egypt, but it was a tough decision to make. And he said, can we find someone in whom the spirit of the God dwells,
Yeah.
that we can put over this matter of putting us ready for the 7 years of plenty and then the 7 years of famine? So whether Barbadians are talking, and I know they are, because one of our problems as a people is that we don't take the time to get our information accurate. We don't take the time to look at the big picture. We don't take the time to see what the future is like. And evidently, if Mr. Thorne and the executive body of the party, if they're looking at the future of the party, if they're looking at saying to Barbadians, well, we want to be a viable change of government leading into this upcoming election, and also taking Barbados into the future, then it is necessary to make those tough decisions. And even though that it might not have sat well in Egypt with the
Mm-hmm.
selection of Joseph, who was a Hebrew, to take over the political reins in Egypt, it worked out well. Okay,
Mm.
it worked out well to the point that they the whole world got saved by Joseph's ingenuity and his wisdom and his skill. His family got saved, and Egypt got saved, and it went on to become a global empire. And I think Mr. Thorne has, I think he has his head on. Okay, I've watched him. I've paid very close attention to his interviews. Paid very close attention to his mannerism, his body language, even when he's speaking in Parliament. I think he has his head on. I think he knows where he's going. I think he knows where the party needs to go. And I think that there are individuals within the party that are standing with him, even though they might not be visible, even though they may not say that they are standing in support of him. But this decision has shown that within the Democratic Labour Party, within the executive body, there is unity, because this was a
Mm-hmm.
unanimous decision. So I
Yes.
would not say that this is going to destroy the party. Rather, looking at the future, I would say, a fantastic move. I think this is going to bring the party closer together. I think this is going to bring the party closer together faster. Let me put it that way. And I think right now at this stage, they can actually begin the process of speeding forward into letting the public see exactly who they are and what they have to bring to the nation, that says to Barbadians, "Hey, listen, we are ready. We have our people in place. We are ready to be a viable and serious element of change going forward for Barbados." So the person that I am, I would not see this as anything that would destroy the party at all. I think this is actually a plus for the party. I'm not. Um, Maybe I should say this because one of the things that we must understand is that um, like ministries are on different levels. Um, and so I have, with the help of my wife and with some of the ministers who were here prior, who are no longer with us, and also with the ministers who are with me right now, we've built World Harvest into a ministry that hears from God. So I don't do anything unless I have heard from God. Now, there are ministries that are designed for evangelism, winning the lost, getting people saved. There are ministries who are designed to help enhance individuals and bring them into their calling and purpose. But one of the elements of World Harvest Ministries International is that we're called to do the ministry of higher national salvation. And what this means is that we're designed to speak to the principalities and powers that governs Barbados. Hence, during COVID, when I was speaking, I kept telling individuals, I am not saying this by myself. This is what I took the time to pray with my wife. We asked the Lord, tell us about COVID, explain to us, show us exactly what
Right.
COVID
Remember, don't
is.
use that V word on here. Okay. Just letting you
Yeah,
know, I want to keep my channel for the people
yeah,
of Barbados. Go ahead.
yes, right. And so I'm just saying this to help you understand that when I
Yes.
speak, I speak from the position of the salvation of the nation, the safety of the nation. And if more people had listened to what the Lord told me to say and what I said to the nation, then we could have saved more lives. Okay. But this is what I need us to understand. And I'm not um, the kind of person, I'm not, um, political from the point of view of for one party or for another. I understand the role of politics in the island of Barbados, and I think right now with the entrance of Mr. Thorne into the Democratic Labour Party, I think the Democratic Labour Party has a very serious future right now. I think Barbados has a very serious future. I've had the chance to speak with Mr. Thorne personally, face to face, and it gave me an opportunity to assess his mental state, his spiritual state, and he is a man that will listen and take advice and implement the advice for the betterment of the party and for the people of Barbados. So I just want to say this, that the time has come now to actually save Barbados. We have to make sure that Barbados has a future. I believe very, very strongly that Mr. Thorne has a vision, which I know for sure, and he's implementing that vision. It is not going to please everybody. Um, not every decision that is made by a leader is going to sit well with everyone. There are people who are for you. There are people who are against you. There are people who are on the fence, who need more information. They need more elements to help them to believe, to help them to make up their minds as to where they're going to go. But as I said, I don't see this as a problem for the party. I think out of it, you're going to see a very quick resurgence of the party. I think in this move, you're going to see a lot more individuals um, who are stalwarts of the party and individuals who are, real supporters of the party, and even individuals who are fed up and tired of the type of leadership style that we've seen here so far. I think this is a pretty good move, and we'll see in a few days, in a few weeks, exactly what it will turn itself into. But again, those who know, they know, and again, I think this is a very, very strategic move by the party that is going to yield benefits in the long run. Well, at this time, if I had the opportunity to speak with him, first of all, I would tell him to stand his ground. And then not only from the point of view of uh, handling the situation primarily from the order of the executive body, but also as a man of God, as an apostle. The Bible reminds us that whosoever sins uh, we retain, they're retained to them, and whoever sins we forgive, they're forgiven. So there's a place where apostolic governance has to come into the reality of what's happening, and I think is very important for him to stand his ground and not just function as a member of the executive body, but also as an apostle, to speak as an apostle. And it's very important for us to understand, if a man of God is speaking and you have individuals such as these two gentlemen that are unwilling to even respond to a man of God who is inviting them to a meeting, then if we have this type of behavior at the adult level, at a leadership level, then what are we leaving for our young people to do? So this is something that I think that is very, very critical. And I would say to Apostle Jurek to make sure that he does everything that is within his power in this season to make sure that this situation is handled. If it is not handled properly, within the reality of the disciplinary committee of the party, then handle it as a man of God. Handle it by
Yeah.
divine power. It has to be handled at some point in time. It has to be dealt with, and if they're not open to, the rules of the party, then we handle it through the power of God. And I'll tell you, it's usually handled a lot faster when God gets involved. Okay, um, this is, in my opinion, a matter of restructuring. And as Paul just said, if you have an opportunity to state your case, why would you not attend and then ask people to fight for you? That just does
Right.
not make any sense at all. I mean, it's crazy to expect the masses to fight for you when you are not even fighting for yourself. So I think it's very important right now that the Democratic Labour Party, they maintain their place. I know for sure that this act by the executive body is a clear sign that the party is together. I mean, this is a unanimous decision. So this doesn't say that there are wranglings and all these different things. It's just a matter of the fact that the party knows if we're going to be, um, you know, taken seriously by the public, we have to rebuild. We have to rebuild better. We have to rebuild stronger, and to maintain this level of activity within the party at this moment will not allow that to happen. So again, I mean, I love what Mr. Paul said, and I stand by what I've said so far. The time has come for things to be done on a level that lifts Barbados and lift Barbadians up out of what we've been experiencing for the last 6 years. So
Yeah.
the time has come for change. Are actually in agreement that the move was necessary, and I think even one caller said it should have been done, as they said, ever since. So
Ever since.
you're not getting that. You only get it from the other side that it's a bad decision. But you have to understand again that when when you have moderators on call-in programs who make it clear the party their support, you're always going to get that group of bias, rhetoric coming in, and that's what you get from the Peter Wickham show. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I don't think this decision is a matter for public opinion, and
Mm-hmm.
neither do I think this decision is any of the Barbados Labour Party's business.
Mm-hmm.
And they should not uh, take this and make this a matter of political gain or use it to create any kind of political leverage um, with the people. This is a party's matter, and they have taken it upon themselves to act in accordance with their laws, and that's something that they should respect and celebrate the fact that the Democratic Labour Party uh, is doing things within the framework of the party's disciplinary committee. So I'm actually happy hearing individuals that are calling in and saying that it is an actual really great move that was made by the executive body of the party. So let's see where this goes. Like I said, I don't see it becoming anything destructive for the party. I can only see them getting up from this and building and coming back better and coming back stronger. So we'll see. I'm not hearing that this is going to be destructive to the party. And I've even spoken to individuals and in my circle about this, and they're not sensing no type of destructive element at all. I think what is happening right now, I'll go on a limb and say this: I know for a fact that the Barbados Labour Party right now is struggling. Um, I know that they are aware that the Democratic Labour Party is stronger under Mr. Thorne. And, it's only a matter of time before we actually see the unraveling, let me put it that way, until we see the unraveling of the Barbados Labour Party going forward. But this is going to be an amazing time. I think that with all that I have witnessed so far, this is an amazing time to rebuild, an amazing time for the Democratic Labour Party to make sure that the public in Barbados, they know for sure what they're bringing to the table. I know there are a lot of individuals that are already behind Mr. Thorne, and I think this is just time for the wing of the eagle to be healed and to begin to soar again. So I'm looking forward to an amazing time of restoration, an amazing time of rebuilding, reconstruction, and then again for the party to reclaim their place in the minds of Barbadians. So I'm very, very happy to see this act, and I'm just laughing all the way. I'm very, very, very excited because it's time for Barbadians to see something different. Time for Barbadians to see something new, and I think they're going to see this with the resurgence of the Barbados Labour Party. I think by the time they actually do have this general conference, I think the energy is going to be there. I think Barbadians are going to see a new surge of energy, kind of similar to what we're seeing in America with Kamala Harris. I think we're going to see something similar like that with the people of Barbados and within the Democratic Labour Party. And I just want to be clear: brass tacks is just brass tacks. You can use them for a few days, and then afterwards they bend, get old, and get rusty. You got to look for new ones. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
As I told Mr. Thorne, I said to him when we have the meeting, I told him that there are people that are praying for him that he does not really know about. And the reality is that he has to have very, very strong people around him, in order to make this work. And the people are slowly but surely making their way there and taking their place. And, the bricks and mortars are being laid. And sooner or later, you'll see what's being constructed. I've always said this, that in the Bible, when you read Genesis chapter 1, the Bible tells us that everything was created in the dark. There was no light. It's only after God said, "Let there be light," that we saw what was created. So just in a few seasons to come, we will see when the light shows up what's being created in the dark. And from my understanding, no picture is developed in the light. You must develop it in a dark room. And right now, the Democratic Labour Party is doing their work to develop that picture that the public will eventually see. So let's give them a chance to do what's necessary, Bill, and not be hounding them and taking this seriously and acting funny and trying to disrespect Mr. Thorne and the Democratic Labour Party. It has a rich history. We know who founded it. We know what he did. And, strangely enough, when I was speaking with my cousin, Dr. Walter Ramsey, he told me, he said, young Scantlebury, I'm going to tell you this. He said, Errol Barrow never wanted free education. He said, Errol Barrow wanted freedom through education. Okay, that's a big difference. Free education versus freedom through education. Okay, and what we've done is that we've taken what he wanted, which was the people being free through the use of education, and use it as a political edge. And we're talking about free education, but they can never be free education. Teachers must be paid, Schools must be built. Uh, Ministry of Education and must operate. Books must be purchased. Staff must be paid. So telling children that you can ride free on the bus is not educating our children. Okay, so just a few things that I just want to add to this, but we're going to see that picture that the Democratic Labor Party is currently, working on in their dark room, and we will see the light of it shortly. Well, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for Loop News and certain elements of other versions of media here in Barbados, we would not have a platform to say anything on. And again, one of my big problems in Barbados is that we don't have any investigative journalism. So what we have is a sham. And again, we're talking about Barbados being a world-class country. Explain to me, how can world-class be one television station, two newspapers? Explain to me how you can have, just three main media houses, two telecommunication providers, one electric power provider. Explain to me, how can that be world class? Okay, I would actually like to say what it is, but it definitely isn't world class. And what we need in our media, because again, this is making sure that the public out there, they're not aware of the alternatives. And as I said, I never had the NBKA, New Barbados Kingdom Alliance, as a third party. I said we are an alternative party.
That's true.
Okay?
Correction. I stand corrected, sir.
Right. Because we wanted to present to the people of Barbados an alternative to what they've been going back and forth to. And again, I think it's pretty important now, especially leading up to this next general election. Is going to be very, very interesting to see how things are going to unfold. But I think, again, the Democratic Labor Party right now, they have that push. They have that opportunity to really sway the minds of the people, the young people. I think people out there, they want something, they need something new. And I can tell you for sure, the people in Six Mins here in St. Peter, they definitely need something. They need something to happen that would put them in a better position right now. So, kudos to this decision by the Democratic Labor Party, and they can only get better from here on. This is what I'm saying, and it's not even a matter of me using my spiritual gifts, okay? And I think it's very, very important. So we'll go forward from here. I think they're going to do very well. What they're dealing with is the shock, okay? And people don't necessarily deal with shock the same way, and it's very, very clear from the reaction and the behavior, and then the response from these two gentlemen, is that they haven't handled the shock of this decision maturely, okay? And they have not particularly handled this decision as maturely as they should have. And I think that's where the public should base much of their understanding of this situation, the maturity that was necessary from them in terms of dealing with this situation. It just was not there, okay? And if you're going to present yourself as a leader, then there is a need for a certain level of maturity. And
Correct.
That level, we did not see that level of maturity coming from them. Not that they're not, reputable gentlemen, not that they haven't done anything in the nation or for the nation. Sure, they have, but this comes down to the reality of maturity, okay? This comes down to, we have laws, we have an executive body, we have a disciplinary committee, we have, floor membership. We understand that there is a way that the party functions, and you made a decision to just blatantly not function within the confines of this. And again, what we're dealing with here is not miscommunication. It is not a matter of Mr. Thorne being a dictator. It is not a matter of hatred. It is simply a matter of maturity. It's simply a matter of handling a situation that was fickle, a very delicate situation, and it had to be handled delicately. But it got to the point where the operation, the activity had to be swift and it had to be shocking. Now, I'm going to say this because I am, of course, you bring a preacher on a show like this, the Bible is going to come up at some point in time. I can tell you
Yes,
that.
and that's fine because
There
we
was a
have
situation.
another 6 minutes, so that's
Yes, ma'am.
fine.
I'll say this quickly. We had a situation with Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, who came up and spoke against the man of God, Moses. And Moses said, listen, I'm not going to get around here dealing with all this disrespect from you. He said to the people, you all come close. If you with them, you go over with them. If you with me, you come with me. And he said, being a man of God, he said, the earth opened up, spoke the word of God. The earth opened up, swallowed 250 of them that were over with Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and slammed closed. It was the fastest funeral in history, the fastest mass funeral in history. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, um, many times decisions must be made, and they must be made in a shocking manner. Okay, we go back, we look at Ananias and Sapphira, for God's sake. We had to make a
Mm,
tough decision on that. We can't let the church go forward with people we just started. We can't
mm,
have folk coming in um, trying to rob and trying to lie at the same time. So we had the first funerals in early church, very shocking. Okay, and the Bible said fear came on everybody. So I think what they have to deal with is the fact that they did not demonstrate a very high level of maturity in this matter, and they have to deal with the shock of the decision that was made by the executive body of the party, and they just have to handle it and demonstrate that they're men of repute and move on. But that's the reality of what's happening right now.
yeah, correct. And to all who are saying that all hell is going to break loose and so on, no,
Oh no,
no,
oh
and
no,
then not
oh no.
all hell. No.
We're praying for Mr. Thorne. Ain't no hell breaking loose. The hell just got evicted. Okay,
I would say that too. I'd
so
say that. they, they will let loose on themselves,
yeah,
but
we're
no.
not going to do that. I think Mr. Thorne, as I said to him, he's backed by very strong spiritual people, and we're praying for him that he would continue to function in the wisdom of God and function in righteousness and justice. When I spoke to him, I said, I keep hearing you use these words over and over, righteousness and justice. And those are words that I like. Those are words that I use. And so we're praying for him and, praying that the will of God and the wisdom of God would be demonstrated in his life on a daily basis. And so this is an act. Let me just say this: this is an act of wisdom, and wisdom is justified of her deeds and the deeds of of her children. I don't think that they can. I don't think they can fight wisdom. You can never fight wisdom and win. It leads us to consider that there is a level of maturity that has not been um, accepted or as yet attained by these gentlemen. So again, we're praying with Mr. Thorne. We're praying with the Democratic Labor Party. I'm not saying this because of um, you know being a Democratic Labor Party person or anything of that nature, but I know when justice has to be served. I know when my country is in danger. I know right now for sure that Barbados is in danger under the type of leadership that we have at the moment. And I am in favor of any element that arises that is divine in nature, that says We need to do something right now to get our nation back, to put our nation on a solid footing, and to move forward with the will of God so that every person in Barbados can prosper and live well and do well in their own country.